Hello, I'm Smita Kumar, and you're watching Medicircle. Today, on our healthcare startup series, we have Sanchit Agarwal with us. Sanchit is the co founder and CEO of Newmi Care based out of Gurugram. Newmi is a digital health and commerce platform and India's first products and services ecosystem that is focused on all health and wellnesses a woman need. Newmi is trying to solve for broken women health journey, highly fragmented ecosystem, lack of preventative and self-care that women usually do, and also lack of care programs that are especially designed for women at work. So let's know more about Newmi. Hi, Sanchit. Welcome to Medicircle.
Hi, Smita. Good evening. Thank you for inviting.
Great. So tell us about how you started, when you started, and as it is focusing women's health. So why you chose something?
No, I think great. So Smita, I'll give a quick background story about why we're doing what we're doing, right? So we are a couple founders, right? So me and my wife Aditi, her name is Aditi. We founded this company early part of this year. We're just 8 9 months old, very new, right? And so my background is 20 plus years in the corporate world. Got lucky, worked with some leading brands, right from Anderson Consulting to Lehman Brothers. So was an investment banker, Barclays Bank, Deloitte Strategy Consulting. And my last role, I was a global managing director for the largest P&L for Accenture. So yeah, I had a good career. So now this is what I call Sanchit 2.0 for two reasons. One, kind of a big shift, right, from being a hardcore finance and growth guy in a corporate world to starting a women health company. And this is my literally second life. Met an accident a few years back and was declared brought dead, and somehow survived, good karma. And it took me 6 to 9 months to come back on my feet. So promise myself that day I'll be able to do something more meaningful, impactful in life. I'll do it. So got fortunate to get inspired through my wife's journey, a health journey, and that's kind of motivated us to kind of build Newmi. So Aditi, her background is she's an ex-fashion designer. Sabyasachi Mukherjee is a famous guy. So she was a lead designer for him for 15 16 years. So I was the boring finance guy, and she was the pastry in her life. And Aditi is a two-time cancer conqueror. I call her, not survivor. And first time she got cancer at a very young age of 25, just 6 months into our wedding. And it was a very overwhelming experience. Young couple, newly married. And then fast forward 10 years, the cancer came back with birth of her son. And the first time when the she got cancer, every doctor we went to told us if she is fine for the next 5 years, it'll be all okay. But it did not happen, right? So after 10 years, it came back. And then we got curious as a couple that why did it happen, right? And we started further kind of studying about it. And I got literally, very furious with some of our doctors, like, so why didn't you kind of communicate and why did it happen, right? And there was a direct, and we got to learn there was a direct correlation between her pregnancy and cancer coming back because of estrogen formation, which is a growth hormone. And I don't want to get into technical details, but essentially that triggered, and it could have been prevented. The second time her cancer came back could have been prevented. So long story short, that kind of triggered that we as a country, one, are not are what I call is an incidental care country. Something happens, then we talk about it. Second, I think we don't prioritize women health. In fact, women themselves, especially when it comes to maternal care, right, they don't take care of themselves. It's always about the baby as soon as the baby is born, right? And the third thing, which obviously we noticed, is if you see anyone's health and wellness, the two or three factors which happen, right? One is either it's genetic, second it's lifestyle, third there's an incident or some injury occurs, accident happens. In women, there's a fourth lever, which is hormones. And that hormones kind of determine your entire journey, right? And that's where it gets fluctuating and you get those various interventions in life, right? So that was the kind of primary background behind or inspiration behind starting Newmi, and kind of prioritizing women health and solving for women health life cycle.
Great, but we have other femtech startups also, like we have Care, and they
Yeah.
also have some specific goals, especially like proactive for her is there. So, what are the prime differentiators, or mainly what goals you are focusing in Newmi to change the women, to change the outlook, especially
Yeah.
the way we perceive our health?
No, absolutely. So, but if you, so where we differentiate on couple of factors, right? So, one is the health life cycle, as I mentioned, right? So, if you take today's women's health life cycle, you are a 22-year-old young girl. Your health and wellness needs are very, very different than a 28-year-old who's trying to maybe get pregnant versus a 35-year-old where you have kind of start early signs of gynec issues, or someone who's entering into menopause in mid 40s or late 40s, right? So the entire cycle kind of needs to be solved for, right? And typically in women, as I mentioned, there are either lifestyle or hormonal disease which are more prevalent, right? So I said, so one is we are solving for the entire women health journey. That's number one, because a lot of the issues are interrelated, right? You solve for one, you solve for many. Number one. Number two, we've built we're using technology to build a recommendation engine where it's very, very personalized needs. So what Smita might need or Aditi might not need at the same age, right? So what we do is we try and understand through technology certain basic things about your current lifestyle, your current health concerns, your health goals, and then all our plans are recommended, which are very, very personalized to you. That's number two. Number three, what we've also done is we have built India's largest ecosystem around both products and services, as you rightly mentioned at the beginning of the call, which is we're looking at the, while we're looking at the health and wellness needs, we're also looking at certain products which can help you supplement your journey, because at the end of the day, today you're already hassled through your health and wellness needs, and you have to go to 20 different platforms for every need, right? So that's what we have been trying to do. So think of us like a super app for kind of women health lifecycle management. And the last thing, as I said, we have launched India's first women at work care programs. So these programs are essentially to help working women and mostly corporates to restrict attrition. So see, there's a 40% dropout of working women in India at a corporate level, right? And there are multiple reasons. One being a new mother, right? Pregnancy. Second is obviously not able to balance work life, right? And health issues. And that's where we've launched one of its kind program, and we are trying to solve for that as well, right? So those are the broad three four ways we are solving for the entire life journey of a woman.
And in this, how many lives you have touched so far?
So we have already serviced 10,000 plus folks, 10,000 women on the retail side, and on our corporate side, we are on a path to address another 10, 15,000 women colleagues, right? So yeah, in a very short span of time, we've got some decent traction.
That's good. And with half of the world's population being women, it is quite actually shocking to notice that only 4% of the medical research budgets are actually spent on health. And it is common to see very few or no women being included in the clinical trials for the new drugs and therapies that just we discussed during this Global Women
Yeah,
Conference at because these COVID drugs, when the vaccines were there was actually no guideline that a pregnant woman can take it.
yeah,
So there were a lot of
yeah.
confusion because women, especially pregnant women, are not, I mean, taken into consideration while we are going for any sort of clinical trial. So we are not sure exactly that this drug is actually going to work or not. So, in your
Yeah.
opinion, what is the future of this femtech industry, and why is there is a need to focus on unaddressed issues that are faced by them?
So I think couple of reasons, right? One is I think it's education and awareness. Every time, every conversation we have had when we were trying to build and when we were thinking, people don't even realize that it is important. Like to small things like my mother did, and my wife my aunt did, or someone in my family did, so what's the big deal, right? So I think one thing is the challenge is this whole education and awareness, and that's what yesterday also I spoke about, right? That we as whosoever is in this industry, we as a lot of players of femtech startups as well as ecosystem, I think we need to drive that education and awareness. I think that's one big factor, that people are not even aware that this is an issue, right? And women themselves are not aware that this is not normal, right? Whatever happens in terms of their life cycle, right? I think that's one. Second, I think it's obviously there is some level of now effort being built to solve for niche issues, right? We had a startup from Israel yesterday, if you're there, and we have other kind of companies which are trying to solve certain niche problems, right? So definitely there is some progress. Obviously, a lot more needs to be done, in my view. But I think the overall ecosystem has started building, right? We just did India's first global women health conference, which means we are moving small steps, baby steps, but definitely I think there is now enough attention globally on femtech as a industry. US, again, there is a 10-15% spend happening. Europe, again, there are a lot of countries which are advanced. Now I think definitely India, we are far behind, but we are taking some baby steps. So I am very, very confident and very happy that at least that the timing is right, that we are all kind of talking about such topics now,
Yes.
right?
And for example, that there are many such startups, especially femtech startups, that are expanding their horizon by offering mental health support and virtual assistance to LGBTQ community. So, do you also have any such plans? What are your thoughts other than what you're doing for working women? Is anything special being done?
So absolutely yes, absolutely yes. I think we as a brand, and my personally and in my corporate role, I think I learned a lot to be an inclusive society and inclusive company, right? So we ourselves do already do that, right? So we are in fact building programs around helping kind of folks with kind of LGBTQ preferences, right, and needs. And we in fact have a network, right, of our kind of partners where we work very closely on a lot of education around this, both at a corporate level and also in kind of mass level. We have started doing sessions through our social media channels, right? And in fact, we are kind of also writing a lot of specific content about what do's and don'ts and stuff like that. So yes, absolutely 100% big supporter. In fact, we have a very strong network, and we have already working with a bunch of partners around that.
And tell us, how has Newmi Care enabled women to actually come together and discuss their health challenges? Because mostly we have seen women talking, that's
Exactly.
a common thing that we always
Yeah.
do, but we never discuss, especially the mental or sexual problems or challenges that we are having, and especially breaking the taboo. So, what are your thoughts on that? That Newmi is actually enabling women, especially when they are actually opening up to their peers, friends, communities.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
So I think a fantastic question again. So it is very encouraging. So a couple of things we are doing, right? So one is we are building communities, and we are building communities in three buckets, right? One is which is because if you see, maternity is one of a lifestyle kind of milestone, and if you choose to be a mother, so anything which is pre maternity, you are a teenager and you start having hormonal issues and all. So that's a mensuration and all that. That's one space. Then maternity is one space, and then post maternity after maybe age of 35 to 50, 55. So that's another third space, right? So what we have done is we have started building communities around that, right? Because a 24-year-old young girl will not be willing to talk about menopause, right? So what we have done is we have started creating those communities, which are free old communities. They are on WhatsApp and one of our tech platforms, and then these are free flowing, and obviously there is a moderator, but these are free flowing, and it's amazing to see the kind of thoughts people come up with, right? That's one. Second, what we have done is we do very specific sessions through our social media platforms, webinars and kind of sessions from experts, wherein it's a kind of no rule kind of sessions, right? Where you can come and ask for anything under the sun. And it's been very encouraging to see the kind of questions and the kind of inputs you get through that, right? That's number two. And number three, we are doing a lot of these sessions for corporates as well, where we are sensitizing a lot of the audience in front, like both genders, right? And to give you a very specific example, we recently conducted a session for a corporate about breastfeeding or breast pumping at workplace. right? That's very, very specific. It's again a very taboo topic. Like, how can you breast pump at a workplace, right? In fact, we are helping a corporate to set up a breast pumping booth in their office premises, right? So we go very specific around that, and I think we're seeing a pretty good response. Actually, obviously, people need a place to out an outlet, and I think it's been fascinating to see the way women are coming together and supporting each other. Yeah,
So definitely, when we talk about especially like the breast milk, I was talking to one entrepreneur the last time when we were talking about Loric shots. She told me that another than Loric shots, it's I mean another other than the women's milk, the breast milk that the child gets initially, you don't have anything like that on earth that can actually give you that kind of a boost of immunity.
booster.
So many
Yeah,
things. Loric shots is clear close to that, but nothing can actually compare that. So it's really very essential. We may think that okay, it's something very awkward to have, but it's a boon to the child. Definitely we should be having change the mindset. It's actually we are trying to change the mindset of the people, talking
yeah,
more about women health. We both attended this global women's health innovation conference where we actually, do the facts as Renita shared that really we are I mean, not that far that yes, we are actually still talking on such issues like menopause, infertility, even
yeah,
how much women is getting done for these, but are women taking into consideration for clinical trials, or what is the women's participation when a VC is actually
yes,
deciding to put the money in the startup? So there are so many,
yeah,
but it's a good start that finally we are starting. Awareness,
yeah,
advocacy is definitely the key, which we are also trying to do through our platform,
yeah,
talking and
yeah,
making awareness about more and more women, the challenges that the women are facing today. So, tell us
yeah.
your experience, how you feel coming to Medicircle Healthcare Startup Series, because the more we talk about you and your offerings, the more and more people would be knowing that is, I think, we are making a bridge between the healthcare enthusiasts and entrepreneurs.
No, I think Smita, hats off to you, and I think this is a fantastic initiative, right? You guys have done started, and that's the reason when we got connected, I got very interested to speak and communicate. I think, as I said, the couple of things we are trying to do, right? One is education and awareness. I'm a very, very big proponent that we have to talk more and more and more and more about this, right? So number one. Number two, I think we have to sensitize both the genders, right? It's not only education of women on their own, right? But the men as well. And I am again a very, very strong this thing proponent of talking that men have an equal role to play, right? So I think a platform like yours talking about very, very sensitive issues, where talking about this openly, I think this is fascinating, and I think we need to do more and more of these. And in fact, as I said yesterday and day before, this Global Women Health Conference, eye opener for me personally. A lot to learn. A lot is happening in our country, and I think you as a platform can bring all that to the forefront, right? And also, and a third point you mentioned about the funding and the from a startup community perspective. I think this is a huge kind of place for us to kind of build businesses, right? While obviously we are talking about something very specific to women health, but there is a need to build business as well, right? Otherwise, you will not survive. And I think this is a space where actually women users will be willing to pay for their health. It's just that more awareness and education needs to be done. And the last thing I would say, through your platform, I think what we can do is bring the entire ecosystem together, right? Now you have 30, 40, 50 players already in India. And maybe it medis, I don't know, but I don't know what's your vision, but this becomes a platform for a lot of people to come and collaborate, right? Again, a very big proponent of that. We have to create this market. We have to create the entire ecosystem, and maybe yours is a platform where we come together and collaborate more, right? So I'm very, very excited and happy that we are talking and the initiatives you are doing at Medicircle. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the kind words. Definitely, that's the aim of us as a dedicated media platform to for healthcare. Because if we talk, definitely would be more aware, and the lesser we talk, the lesser the top taboo, the lesser the
Yeah.
that is the thing. When like even mental health challenges. It's just not faced
Yeah.
by men, it's also there with women. Women are the,
Yeah.
I mean, they are less discussing their health challenges. That's another problem. So definitely changing the mindset is really one of the goals of Medicircle. By talking to more and more people, making you aware about these things,
Yeah.
these startups which are there, which are trying to help our lives, make our lives
Yeah.
easier and make us more organized. Like even if we are working, we are able to breastfeed the baby, we are able to deliver that, because sometimes new mothers are actually at guilt that they are not going to do that thing for the baby. But yes, we now have solutions for that. Let's talk more about all such offerings which these wonderful startups are doing. Thank you so much, Sanchit, for joining us today at Medicircle.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And
and
thank you for having me, Smita. Thank you so much.